Welcome. Welcome to all of you out there, dear astrology friends. This is your monthly horoscope for September of 2025. Yes, I know some of you will watch this when it's still the end of July, but there's a reason all behind it. I want to prepare people specifically now. I'm making this super early because in September it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a very eventful month, and that's why I'm doing it early. And for those of you that are just a minority, but sometimes I get comments like, "Really, you're doing this too early." You know what? Don't watch. That's my moon in Aries coming up here opposite Uranus. I mean, come on. Take accountability for your own luck. My goodness me. Anyway, I hope that most of you luckily appreciate that I'm doing this so early on. And as I said, it's one of the most important months of the year, September. I'm going to talk about two eclipses. There's going to be an eclipse in Pisces. There's going to be an eclipse in Virgo. There's going to be Saturn getting back into the end of Pisces, which is very important as well. And last but not least, we're going to have Mars in Scorpio. And normally, okay, that happens every 2 years. But in the midst of all of this eclipse time, this shows that we want to do something that we either are very afraid of and that we feel that we've been wanting to do for a long time, because it squares up to Pluto. When it enters Scorpio, it squares up to Pluto. It's like a massive Mars, a big Mars in Scorpio, and we want to use that the right way. Because although, I'll talk about that in a minute when I get to Mars. Let's get to the most important, first and foremost, which is these two eclipses. And then I go back to the 12 signs. I'm going to talk about the two houses where the eclipses fall and the Saturn back into Pisces. But I'm also going to talk about Mars in Scorpio, where that is in your chart. So quite a lot to talk about. Very eventful. The eclipses. Let's get started with that. Now, the one in particular that I'm very much looking forward to is the one that is in Virgo. But that is on the 21st of September. First, we're going to have one in Pisces on the 7th of September. Let's talk a tiny little bit about it. It's at 15 degrees of Pisces. It's a lunar eclipse, which means the moon is going to show up in the sign of Pisces and where the North Node is. So there's something new here. And we will see a glimpse of this new part and this new way that is connected to Pisces, whatever that is in your chart. And it opposes the Sun in Virgo at 15 degrees. So this is definitely an eclipse. By the way, both of the eclipses belong to the Saros cycle 9 New South. And that is all about responses around or responsibilities around documents, and also about taking care of people that you love, that you worry about if they're not okay. But that's an aside for those of you who love the nitty-gritty of the astrology. Let's get back to the lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse, it is one that is going to trine its own ruler of the eclipse, which is the trine to Jupiter. I'm not going to get into it too much because I'm going to do a separate video on that. But it's on the fixed star Achernar, and that is sudden success. Sudden public success is possible as well. But again, that aside, it means a new something new that is appearing in the realm of the Pisces energy. And Pisces is all about spirituality. It's all about compassion. It's all about being inventive when it comes to connecting with all there is. It's about the realms that we don't see, but that are definitely there. It's about the 12th house, right? Which is Pisces. So we are definitely going to see that we have a new opportunity for, you could say, new realms and new possibilities for more spirituality, but also more relaxing. Ways of relaxing is also associated with Pisces. And it's very much about creativity as well. So letting go, so that you can be open for creativity. So I think this eclipse is a wonderful one. And because it's with the North Node, it also shows something new here that is appearing. And the moon eclipse with the moon conjunct the North Node, the moon represents what we are attached to. The North Node is something new. So we're going to be attached, or there is a possibility to be attached towards something that is new, that is related to where Pisces is in your chart, right? But definitely in the background, keep in mind that is related to things that we want to connect with, things that are spiritual, and so on, that are compassionate, empathy, and so on. Doing something for the collective, all these kind of things. Very beautiful. I think there is a bit of a more stress element when it comes to the other eclipse, which is on the 21st of Virgo. Two things, because it opposes Saturn almost exactly. And another thing is that it's at the very end of Virgo. So it's going to be the sun and the moon together at 29 degrees of Virgo. So that we call that a critical degree, which is almost like all that you've been learning around Virgo, all of that compacted. And like a diamond, the best of the best, you kind of collect it. But it's with the South Node. So the South Node means a letting go of. And of course, we don't want to let go of the good qualities of the Virgo, which is analyzing and planning and result oriented and being of service for others and healing and understanding through the mind, because it's Mercury ruled. We don't want to lose that. We want to lose the negative side of Virgo, which is the worrying, which is the micromanager, which is trying to control everything and attach yourself too much to the outcome, which is also fearful of the unknown. All these things that Virgo is related to when it goes in overdrive. And I'm smiling because I can know it. I have 4 planets in Virgo. So I definitely know, not only by reading other people's charts, but definitely from my own experience. So we are invited on the 21st of September with that critical degree it's like the last call, right? For letting go of that micromanaging energy, letting go of that perfectionism, you could say. But not in a way that I'm sitting in my chair and I don't care. No, a Virgo cares too much, that's for sure. But it's letting go of going into that overdrive, so that when you're too focused on a certain detail, you kind of forget the whole thing. And you kind of get lost in the abyss and become the abyss. So another thing is that this new moon in Virgo with the South Node, which is all about karmic, the South Node relates to our karma. It relates to let go of that. And this is the cycle that is all closed here. Even more, this is emphasized because it opposes Saturn, that will be getting, as it is now in Aries, just at the very beginning of the sign of Aries, it's tiptoeing a little bit back into Pisces for a couple of months. And that's going to be at exactly 29 degrees of Pisces, because Saturn goes retrograde on the 2nd of September already. So it's going to be like 29, 28 degrees of Pisces around the end of the month of the 21st of September, it's going to oppose that sun and that moon. Remember, Saturn and Pisces, it's totally different. Saturn and Pisces is about endings. And it's about doing these endings in its karma. Again, Saturn and Pisces is all about these karmic cycles that are closing up. It's also about structure and discipline. It's almost like Saturn and Pisces, they call it in ancient astrology, they call it in its joy, because it structures the subconscious. It structures, you could say, an energy that is a lot about not having structures. So therefore, I really kind of like Saturn in Pisces, because it gives, and certainly when you're spiritual, it gives structure to your spirituality. It gives practicality towards something that is not so easy to, that is not really tangible. So Saturn and Pisces at its best, it's about, instead of getting lost into expenses, for instance, it's do some charity work, right? That's Saturn and Pisces. Or organizing and structuring your subconscious and trying to understand it in a practical way so that you make better choices in life. That's Saturn and Pisces. But now connected with this North Node and opposing the South Node and Virgo new moon, this is all about an ending, for sure. That has to do with those Virgo kind of qualities that are toxic, that are not good for us. But at the same time, with the opposition to Saturn, it's not easy to let go of. It's not easy to dissolve that structure. I say dissolve because it's also, although it is in another sign, Neptune is at the beginning of Aries at 1 degree, it's still also very close to this whole constellation. So what is this all about? In a nutshell, it's about endings of structures that has really been helping us for a long time in some way, but that were defense mechanisms. And typical defense mechanisms of Virgo, that perfectionism, it comes from somewhere, and the worrying as well. You know, they say that people who worry a lot, it was a kind of a defense mechanism when in their youth they need to deal with stuff. So we have an opportunity to heal. This is a very extremely healing kind of eclipse, but it doesn't go very fluently with ease, right? It's not with a trine to Saturn or a trine to whatever. No, it's an opposition. And an opposition always means that there is a situation with other people very often, but it's also about a split, about a letting go, literally, of old stuff that is no longer working for you and that is also karmically ready to let go of. I'm an astrologer that is not really into, like, oh, this is karma, this is for my life, because blah, 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 blah. And it may all be true, but I want to have, the real thing here and know hands-on what I can do with the astrology. Well, but this time it is really about former lives and about what you did in the past, and also about your future towards more lightness, more healing, and a less rigid kind of, Virgos, in a negative way, they can be a bit rigid because it's Earth, and Earth doesn't want change. So if you have all this, so what is the advice? The advice is to welcome it, to welcome this energy of letting go of a certain way that has helped us, and that has to do with, this perfectionism and so on and so on. I'll give an example. Let's say you have this in the mind houses, in the 3rd house and in the 9th house. It doesn't matter how I'm saying this in a general example. So this has to do with your mindset. It could mean that you have to stop with being the perfectionist in making, let's say you want to make YouTube videos in the future. That's really something that you want to do. I remember when I wanted to do that with all my Virgo planets, my goodness me, watch my first video. Watch my first video. What I did was the content was okay. I'm still okay with it. But the light and the sound, horrible. But it was letting go of that Virgo rigidity of I want to be perfect, but I've never done it before. So Pisces is let go of it and trust. And trust that all will be well at that particular time and it will sort out itself. And when you do that, things open up. And look, I mean, I've learned a lot, haven't I? It's that kind of energy. It's not that being wanting things to do perfect or is a bad thing. No, it's just a bad thing when you over exaggerate with it. Because if I wouldn't have let go at that particular moment and said to myself, I have to make this I have to make this video for once, I wouldn't have never started a YouTube channel because it's never perfect. It's never the perfect timing. I'm never going to be able to know it all, right? And the axis of this Virgo and Pisces is a lot about the perfectionism and the knowing it and the understanding it, and the opposite, the letting go of it and the trust in something that is bigger than you. And therefore, the trust in a connection to, some call it God, others call it the universe, and but it's about trust. And that is where the other eclipse in Pisces already shows that we have to go towards that trust and that empathy and that opening up. So remember, eclipses, and it's a full moon and a new moon that I'm describing, they are always about balance of two signs. But this time, it's really about getting back into balance because there has been an overdrive of a certain Virgo quality. That is at this particular time no longer, that is actually blocking you, right? Because Saturn is about blockages. So I just gave that example because it's an easy example to explain, right? It was blocking my growth for, what I'm doing. And look what it has given me. I mean, that's for sure. And the work that I'm able to do and that I feel very honored to be able to do that. That is also this axis of Virgo and Pisces is a lot about healing. It's a lot about wisdom. It's a lot about sharing wisdom and messages. Don't forget, these are mutable signs, which is flexible, which is we go with the flow and we spread the knowledge. The mutable signs are here to spread knowledge, it's associated to the 12th house, it's associated to the 6th house where Virgo is, the 12th house where Pisces is, and then the 3rd and the 9th house, Sagittarius and Gemini, which is about knowledge as well. So what a beautiful opportunity. There is something that we need to let go of. That's for sure. That is for sure. Is it going to be easy? No, because otherwise it wouldn't oppose Saturn. Let's say you have this in the 1st and the 7th house of relationships. This could be that you want to perfection it, a certain relationship. You want to make it perfect. And you're doing this and you're doing more and more and more. Now, this could show, this is just a general example. This could show that it's enough. It's time to let go of this relationship. And we know it and we're going to do it. But Saturn shows it's not going to be easy. You're going to feel it, right? So there is some loss here associated with that as well, but it's all for the good, remember? And it's all for our personal growth. How strange that might sound. I mean, you can't say that to someone who's just going through a divorce or lost a loved one and then say, oh, it's for your own good. I mean, come on, this is not a practical thing to say. And these are exceptions, of course. But it's good to know that during this process, that you're doing that this is not all for nothing, right? You know, for example, pain that you have felt in this time with this opposition here. And let's say it's your health, for instance. You're having this in the 6th house, this eclipse and whatnot, and it's about your health, and you're bumping into blockages, which gives you less freedom. No one loves that, right? And an astrologer who says to you that, yeah, it's meant to be like that. I mean, what can you do with that, right? But if you know that there can come out in an adversity also positive things by you, for instance, going through this experience and writing a book about it and helping others with having the same disease as yours, for instance, and so on and so on. It's that kind of stuff that we are seeing here. And again, I'm saying an extreme now. Some people are not even going to feel it. Why? Because they have no planets and no particular points in Virgo or Pisces. Of course, then it's just an energy that they feel in a certain area of their life, and that's it. But a lot of people have planets in Virgo, in Pisces, and in the other 2 signs of Sagittarius and Gemini. At the end of it, they will feel it as well. So, what about Mars here? So we see that there is a big, huge transformation of, and remember, Saturn is structure. Although it is in Pisces, and you would say, oh, but this is no structure. No, it's about an old structure that needs to go so that you can build new structures. And you remember the first eclipse I was talking about, new attachments, so that you can have better and new and fresh attachment for, and better, I mean, they suit you more on an energetic level. Let's put it that way. And the second eclipse is on the fixed star Markep, and that is about wealth and success. So when you look around the Saros cycle, this 9 new south Saros cycle where these eclipses belong to, and you look at those fixed stars that I just mentioned, it's quite one that is all about striving for success and growth. So that's a good thing as well. Now, Mars, yes. What I love about this is that we're going to have this Mars in Scorpio, right? And this Mars in Scorpio is as from the 23rd of September. So it's at the end of September that we're going to feel that. Before that, Mars is still in Libra, right? Which is all about we act, but we take into consideration other people, right? We take into consideration our relationships, our connections. We listen to them. The balance of all of this. But when Mars gets into Scorpio on the 23rd of September, it's gonna, first of all, this is a huge shift of Mars in Libra and Mars in Scorpio, who just wants to do because it's authentic and real and it's, black or white. I'm not going to do maybe this or maybe that, or no, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go for the relationship, or I'm not going to go for the relationship. There's no like, yeah, I might go into it or not. No, that's not Mars in Scorpio. I'm going for that new job or new career. I'm going and I let go with all the Saturn structure and whatever of an old job to go towards a new. Yes. And Mars squares to Pluto, which is a double whammy of Mars and Scorpio, which means that it is time to do something with a lot of, the square means you will have to do effort, but the positive of Mars square Pluto in Scorpio is willpower. When you see that in a natal chart, Mars in Scorpio and square to Pluto, wow, that is a tremendous amount of willpower. That is like when everyone says it's not possible, you kind of do it. You put everything together. You mobilize everything, what you have, and you're doing it. It's that intention. Mars square Pluto means I'm a stratege. I'm going to do it like this. And then the next step, I'm going to do it like that. I mean, a positive Mars square Pluto. Use it in the positive way, Mars square Pluto, because it means that what you're going to do is life changing. Mars and Scorpio, square Pluto. What you're going to do, Mars, with the Pluto and with the Scorpio energy, it is going to be transformative. It's no way back. You're totally different. Your acts, Mars, they have results, but they also have consequences that in your life that you cannot turn back, right? When you go after a certain relationship and you leave another one behind, with that Mars and Pluto, it's about, are you realize that you can't go back, right? Or maybe this is like when I'm ending my studies and I'm going to a new country at the other side of the world, and I'm going to work there, and I'm going to leave my family and all the people that I know. This is an extreme example, but it makes you understand what this energy is all about. And you go to the new country. It's when you've managed all of that. It's not about, oh yeah, next week I'm going to go back. I'm not going to do it. You see, there's consequences. And the thing that Mars and Pluto, there's a lot of fear involved as well. And it's normal, but it's very personal. So I'm going to look at where Mars and Scorpio is for you as well, because it shows a breakthrough. And but again, these are all energies. You don't have to go with that energy at all. You can say, hey, Mars square Pluto, there's an opportunity for something that we are afraid of, but it's going to break through. It's going to be a breakthrough, and it's going to be a transformation. I don't want to transform in this world. Then you say, thank you very much, and you watch Netflix all day. Mars square Pluto will not care. A lot of people think that these planets seem to do something with us. No, it's energy, and we choose. I'm going in with the energy, or I'm not. When it's raining outside, Veerle chooses, I'm not going to go in. I'm going with the nature. I'm going to stay inside, do some work here. Or I'm going against nature. I'm going to go in the rain. I'm going to take an umbrella with me. I mean, we have a choice there. Of course, but it is what it is. We co-create. Now, anyway, this Mars square Pluto, if there is something, if you want to use it in a negative way, Mars square Pluto, in Scorpio, read the newspaper. Watch television. The news. Mars in Scorpio, square Pluto, it's criminality. It is, although Mars in Scorpio is in its own sign, yes, but the soul decides what it's going to do with it, positive or negative. Mars in Scorpio is neutral. You could say it can do a lot, yes. Look at some people who've done rapes. Mars in Scorpio, is that a good thing? Look at people who use their Mars in Scorpio to heal others. Is that a good thing? You see, it's all how you see it in life. But in a way, it can be used as manipulation. It can be used as, it's a very toxic energy as well. So it's like, it makes me think of alchemy. It makes me think of something very dark that we can turn into something extremely positive. A lot of fear that we can turn into something extremely positive because we are courageous, because we dare to do it. That's also Mars and Scorpio, square Pluto. But there's a lot in stake. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Mars and Scorpio, square Pluto, right? If you are like a dentist and you want to turn into a Reiki specialist, I had someone lately who had that. You will see something like Pluto square Mars, because it takes something of a person to say goodbye to such an old life and an old way of doing life for so long, and then jumping into something so different, so transformative, but that suits them better with their soul. I think this is an amazing month, but not for the ones who don't want to transform, not for the ones who don't want to let go of old patterns, not for the ones who want to stick to the old and do business as usual. No, I hope you're with the other ones who are a bit like, ooh, this is exciting. This is transformative, and actually I want the change, but that there is a death of something involved, figuratively, that is pretty normal. right? And that is in an appreciative way that we best do this, like to thank the old life, to thank, like in the story of the dentist becoming a Reiki specialist. She was saying, like, I really appreciated the life and the study that I was doing and the helping of the people. But that's done now. But I go for the Reiki, which is actually also about healing, but on another level. And that's what I invite you to do as well. Where is it that you want to drastically change something? But that is very personal. For someone, it is a job shift, it is a partner shift, it is from being single to being married, from being having no kids to getting pregnant. But for another person, it might simply be, oh, I learn how to drive. And I'm super, super anxious to do this. So I have to let go of certain worries, Virgo, like, oh, I want to drive in a perfect way. It can be as simple as that, but it's a huge thing for a personal, for a certain person. And so it can be something very simple. I know that astrologers, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for other astrologers, but I know that I'm sometimes can really focus on these big things of life, but sometimes it's with the little things that the big things are coming. And specifically now, I'm talking about little things, Virgo, right? And that creates momentum. You know, compound interest. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a very Virgo thing. Virgo is associated with economics, or economics is associated with Virgo. And the compound interest, look it up if you want to know about it. And that explains doing something small every single day becomes wow in a year or so, or maybe in 5 years, long term. And this is definitely for the long term as well. Anyway, I mean, this shift that we're having, I'm getting really into this, and I don't want to get lost in the details like the Virgo. So, which I'm not, I think. And we're going through the 12 signs now, but very quickly. I'm not going to do this too long because I kind of explored already these energies. So let's start with the eclipses, then Saturn in Pisces, and then Mars in Scorpio. For Aries people, wow, this is a lot about this 12th house of yours. There's such an emphasis on that 12th house. There's such an emphasis on a beginning for you, definitely on the 7th of September, a beginning for you of a new way of relaxing, of a new way of letting go, of a new way of understanding the world, the invisible world that is. And with the eclipse of the 21st of September, it's almost by a saying goodbye of old routines, old habits, old jobs as well, jobs that are no longer suiting you, that might have served you a long time. But the thing is, this will not be easy to let go of, right? So that's the whole point. It's the axis of the 12th house and the 6th house. On another level, this is about health. In a good way, this might be the ending of a struggle that you had with your health, that you're going towards release, which is beautiful, definitely. Saturn in that 12th house wants to structure spirituality. It really is about you doing something for the collective if you can. Do it. So that you can avoid a little bit that, oh, I'm going to have expenses or something, because that's the negative side of Saturn in the 12th. You want to really wrap that up in that kind of way. And do something for people that are truly, truly in need. And karmically, this is definitely also a saying goodbye of, this could mean the 6th house is also people that work for you. So there might be a bit of a cleanup. So let's say 10 people work for you, that you're gonna fire 5 of them, whatever, because there is this karmic ending, that there's this way that you're going towards more freedom in that way. A lot of you, it will be work though. It will be, and if you're not working, if you say, Veerle, no, I'm not going to end the work, not at all. It could mean a routine that is definitely not good for you. So that you get more structure into the house where you want to release and where you want to relax. So a bad routine, that is, right? That is not good for your health. I'm not going to name them because there's plenty of them. And then, so interesting, Mars, your ruler in the 8th house, squaring up to Pluto. So that ruler in the 8th house, that is all about transformation. That is all about, I'm getting here, going to battle against the fear that I have. So there is some sort of a fear for a breakthrough, and it's a psychological one. It's an imaginative one as well. So you will be dealing here with a breakthrough. On another level, this is you having an interest in the occult, studying and doing it. You know, you starting Reiki, doing Reiki, for instance. I don't know why I keep explaining Reiki or using that as an example. But anyway, you could do that. Could also mean you getting some work done and breakthroughs with resources that you share with other people as well. Very, very important. Taurus, this is your 11th house. Huge focus on the letting go, but at the same time, new friendships, new goals. Particularly on the 7th of September, it is shown that there might be a new friendship, there might be a new goal for the future, there might be, when you have your own business, there might be a new way of earning, there might be a new way of a new friend circle. There's definitely new stuff happening there. But first and foremost, there needs to be something let go of that is not so easy, that is related to your 5th house in Virgo, where that new moon is and that eclipse. Of course, Taurus and Virgo, they go well with each other. So that gives a little bit of ease, but still it opposes this Saturn. An old way of how you do things with your children, your connection with your children, your connection, how you think about love, how you think about a certain business that you might have, it needs to go. There's something that needs to let go of, that is no longer suiting you. It's actually harming you, right? And so it is like this responsibility that you have towards your future. Saturn in the 11th house, responsibility for your future, but letting go of what might have given you joy in the past, but is not now giving you any joy anymore. Could be a lover as well, or how your attitude towards love is, maybe you want things to be too perfect, right? And that is holding you back to experience the truth of all of this, the truth of love. And Mars is in the 7th house. Oh, this is all about love for you. So there's something about when you are in a relationship, there could be a bit of a tense energy there with Mars square Pluto. And it's rather going to be the other person who's going to be Mars-like. So who's going through some kind of a breakthrough. And the thing is to kind of understand and listen to where they're coming from, because when Mars is in your 7th house, it's no use to kind of battle and whatnot. It's very important to understand, and of course, don't be a doormat either. But there is a shift in your relationship for sure that is transformative, and it's like the other person is the initiator, so to speak. On another level, if you're single, this could mean that someone new appears, and that is very Mars-like, very driven, very passionate, and that is something that is really your attitude of your old attitude of love could be like, it's this perfect picture, and it's tested here. and you're going through it. You're not going for the perfect love anymore. And that breaks through your status of being single, for instance. Very, very important. So for you, very much about relationships and a shift towards that in September. Geminis, this is your work-life balance. So there is a lot on the 7th of September. There's something new there that relates to the 10th house, which is work, the work area, the career area. If you don't have a career, it's how you show yourself to the public. It's how you show yourself to the world. There's something new there. It has to do with a new aspect of a career, or something that you are going to get attached to in a very strong way in the future. But what needs to let go of is the 4th house, which is where this Virgo eclipse is for you, opposing Saturn, which is like literally, this could mean a move. You know, you're moving from an old, a house or a place of living that is karmically done, and you're going towards a new. Could be as simple as that. And there has to be that restoration between your life, your home life, and your work life. Of course, not all Geminis are going to move. So for a lot of you, and with Saturn, it means it feels like karmic, right? It feels a bit heavy to leave it all behind, which is a normal thing that happens, right? So, but it's about experiencing that so that you can go towards new ways in also your career life, right? And for other people, it's on an emotional level. It's leaving old emotions, emotions of worry, right? Because it's Virgo, to leave that behind and to learn how to do that. It opposes Saturn, so it's not the easiest thing to learn how to do that. But Mars is in Scorpio, so where this challenge of doing something that can transform you, if you're open to that, it's your day-to-day life. So your day-to-day life can be very busy with Mars in Scorpio, right? Your routines, there's a drastic shift. There is a new way of you doing things, which is also work, right? Routines, work, your health. There could be something that you're dealing with now that is a new kind of vibe. So for you, mostly work and home area. Cancerians, this is all happening in your mind houses. So on the 7th of September, you have that eclipse in Pisces, which trines your energy. So this is a bit easier for you. And it's in the 9th house. So there could be a new attachment that is connected to foreign countries, abroad, you being attached to a house abroad, a person abroad, right? Let's say you're single, you could be meeting the love of your life abroad, right? The 9th house is also studies, so there is something new around studies, around exploring the higher mind. So travel, writing, teaching, learning. There's something new there, a new belief system. Splendid, and it's trining your energy. You feel good about it. What needs to let go of is this 3rd house, where this Virgo new moon is, which is the logical thinking, this logical worrying needs to let go of. And that's not going to be the easiest thing. So the worries and the monkey mind, it's a lot about that for you. And Cancerians are known to worry a lot about their loved ones, about, people that they care for. And it's about that as well, to leave behind the worry, the things that are out of your control anyways. But that demands a new state of mind, a new kind of interpretation of how life is, a new belief system. And you will have to do some effort to do that. But I think it's a beautiful eclipses for you. Mars in Scorpio has good energy flow towards your Cancerian energy as well. So, and it's in your 5th house. Wow. This could be, for those of you who are single, this could mean a new romance. This could mean, but it squares Pluto, so it demands like some breakthrough in some sort of a way, some fear involved there, to express that truthfulness. Some challenges around the fifth house is sexuality, so some challenges there, some challenges around children as well. So there could be a breakthrough with a connection with a child. And in the beginning, it might be like forceful and not easy, but then the breakthrough is like a total transformation of the relationship with the child. That'd be also a new project that you're going to do, right? So when it's not love, for instance, can be a new project that you're going to invest in, but that is a bit tricky, and that you have to be very aware and strategic how you're going to do it, because there's a lot involved emotionally, because it's in Scorpio. It's a water sign. Beautiful. Leos, this is all happening in the houses of values, of worthiness. So the 7th of September starts with this eclipse in Pisces, and this new one, and where Saturn also will return into, which is all about this opportunity of new ways of, I'm going towards this change. I'm going towards maybe first this crisis here, or the shift that I have to do that I'm afraid of, but I'm going to do this anyways, because then I'm getting released. I'm going through the barrier of fear. It's really about this, whatever this is for you. And the letting go of is this old confidence of yours, because the sun and the moon are in the second house of confidence. It's like the old you and how you saw yourself. It needs to go, right? And for lots of you, probably, I know Leos are known for their confidence, but because the sun is there, or maybe a moon is there, but sometimes an old way of how you see yourself was not realistic, because you wanted it to be too perfect and so on. Remember, this is Virgo, and you let go of that. So I don't want to say that you lower the bar, but you kind of ease the bar, right, in your advantage, so that you are open for other people's resources, whether it is money, whether it is their support emotionally, and so on. So it's more intimacy, for instance, and you being open for that, and you being vulnerable, that as well. Absolutely. These are big words, but I'm not going to explain it too much, because I think it's better for you to fill it in. And Mars in the 4th house, wow, there is this huge shift that you want to do, that you are driven by emotionally. The 4th house is your home, your family, but also your emotions. So again, a water house. So this, for you, this is a month of going inwards rather than, be very fiery and all of that. And it can mean that you're starting to do things, Mars, in the 4th house, your home, to shift homes, for instance. You start to do the cleaning up of the old home to go into a new home, for instance. Can also mean figuratively a cleaning up of your old way of how you emotionally react, and you don't want to do that anymore. Instead of reacting, you respond. You kind of pause, and then you do what you got to do. Very, very healing as well, by you understanding what you need to let go of. That has to do with pride rather than with true confidence, because that's what this is all about. Virgos, this is all about you. The whole intro is for you, because of course, yes, on the 7th of September, you're also going to have that eclipse in your opposite sign of relationships. So there's a lot happening in the relationship sector as well. A lot of opportunities there. And with Saturn there, and the North Node, and with that lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces, there might be new relationships that are very karmic, that feel very karmic, that you're going to connect with now. But of course, what it demands is saying goodbye to the old you. Absolutely. And it's a bit of a now or never moment. Like it's an opportunity. It really is. So what is it in you as a Virgo that you don't like and that you want to let go of? There's an opportunity now by doing the work. Saturn, by doing the work, by being realistic with relationships as well. So, but it's saying goodbye of an old identity for sure, for sure. Let's say, for instance, that you're micromanaging too much, and that's keeping you small in a way, whether you are studying or whatever it is. And this is a part of you that you want to say goodbye to. And that prompts you into that trusting in other people, but being realistic at the same time. It's a beautiful energy, for sure. And Mars is in Scorpio, which is sextiling to your energy, although it squares to Pluto and it's quite powerful. But it's in the 3rd house of communication, of short trips. So you might be doing some short trips. Maybe you're afraid of doing a short trip. But doing it is a breakthrough in some way. Maybe you could be afraid of doing something that is connected to the 3rd house, learning a new skill, but you're doing it anyways. Because when you're learning how to drive a car, for instance, 3rd house, you're afraid of it. But once you have done this, what it can give you is a true transformation. You might be applying for a new job and that gives you a totally new identity and a new way of connecting with others as well. Very beautiful. For those of you who have a birthday on the 7th September and the 21st, wow, happy birthday. And it's definitely a new beginning for you. For those of you who have a birthday around the 21st of September, and for the ones on the 7th of September, it's a culmination of something new. Libras, 6th house. This on the 7th of September, the moon is there, the eclipse is there. There's something here new that you can be attached towards in the future that has to do with work, has to do with your day-to-day work, your routine. If you don't work a certain routine, there's something new here that is very, very positive for you and for your future and for your growth. So that might be a new job, that might be a new routine, that might be a new workout. Very positive. Now, what to let go of is the 12th house. You have that Virgo there, this new moon in the 12th house, which is associated, I'm thinking here about an addiction. Addictions that are no longer suiting you. And it might be a small one, might be a big one, but there's an opportunity here to say goodbye to it, to cut it off. An opposition to Saturn, cutting it off. It's not going to be easy, cutting it off. Whether it is smoking, whether it is sex, whether it is working too much, you name it, there's an opportunity here to let go of that. Mars in the 2nd house, that's really going to help you as well. With this Mars in Scorpio, which is work, which is working on your confidence, which is working on earning your money. Earning your money and confidence is the same house in astrology. It's working on your confidence. So for one person, that is earning money. For another person working on the confidence, it is investing in themselves. Therefore, it's also the house of talents. So you could be working on acquiring better skills. Very important. Scorpios, this eclipse in Pisces eclipse on the 7th of September is in a fellow water sign in your 5th house. So this is nice for you. It's nice for you. And it's like a new beginning here, you could say, or a new opportunity with the moon there of a new attachment, a new love, a child, a business, a new project, something that you do that you enjoy so much. This is this eclipse in the 5th house, which I truly, truly love. But there has to go something that has to do with your 11th house. Maybe it's a friend that you say, this is karmic, but this is the end. Or a goal that you have accomplished, or even some that you haven't accomplished because you wanted it to be so perfect and it's not possible, that you have to let go of. so that you can go for that new love, or that you can go for that new business that you want, or that you can go for the child. But then you have to let go of your, maybe an aspiration that you want to become a ballerina, but then you have to get pregnant, and the combination of that is not possible. You can't do it all, and blah, blah, blah. And then you kind of give up something that is no longer suiting you, that was too worrisome for you, and you go towards something that is more suiting you when it comes to your heart. And Mars is Scorpio. I love this for you. I love this. This is your time as well. And you going after the things that you want to, even that you are afraid of, because it squares Pluto. It does square Pluto, right? So what is it for you that you want to start? You know, Mars in your sign, that you want to start, but that you are afraid of. Emotionally, probably, because this Pluto is in your 4th house. So, and it's about breaking through anyways, and knowing the consequences, and be ready and to find it, to say, okay, I can deal with it, with the consequences. I can, if it happens, I can deal with it. And you're doing it. So a lot of new beginnings for you, for sure. Sagittarians, this is happening. This is important for you because you are a mutable sign. Specifically, if you've got in the later degrees of Sagittarius, then you're going to feel those eclipses more. But for all the Sagittarians, this on the 7th of September, there is this eclipse in your 4th house of home and family, and there's something new here. With the North Node and the Moon, there is this new opportunity for a new way of emotionally responding rather than reacting, for instance. So a new maturity level of how you are emotionally involved with your own emotions, with family. Now, on another level, this is a new home, literally, that you're aiming for. Mind you, these are eclipses, and they can go for like 6 months, their energy, I mean. So, but what needs to let go of is something that has to do with your 10th house. Something that you're doing considered with a job. It doesn't mean to say that all Sagittarians are going to end their jobs. Not at all. But it might be something, a project, or an old habit, an old attitude towards work. Maybe you're micromanaging too much and you let go of that, which is going to be hard because it opposes Saturn in the 4th house. So there's something that is this struggle between home and family and work. There might be something that you have to disconnect from, an old structure, and that you have to get the balance back. So that could be, for a lot of you, something that is demanded from you in the 4th house, which is your home, your family, or something that is happening in the family, or literally with your home, and you can't focus full on the job, for instance. Could be that as well, for an amount of time. But whatever it is something to have a better emotional well-being, after all. So that could indicate a new job as well, right? But first, there needs to be a let go of an old job. When that is your story, it's not easy, right? And it's probably going to be like, okay, I love to do this, and this is time for me to let go of now, and I have to go to a new something that is better for me, but still it hurts. It's that kind of thing. Mars in your 12th house, squaring Pluto. Oh, there is this fight, you could say, going on behind the scenes on a subconscious level. You can be battling patterns that are invisible, subconscious patterns, which is a good thing. If you're battling them, that means that you're seeing your blind spots. Mars in the 12th house, it could mean a bit restlessness. So don't worry if you can't sleep for a month and a half. But it means that you're working and you're a bit active in your dreams, and you're working in the unconscious. But all in all, in a good way, this is a battling of a pattern, a family pattern, 12th house, karmic family pattern that is no longer suiting you. And this might come up because of this opposition from home and work, right? These are key areas of your life that are shifting now. And once and for all, you can say goodbye to by the Scorpio is understanding, by it's healing. A lot of healing can be done here as well, which is beautiful. Capricorns, this is on the mind level. This is this beautiful eclipse on the 7th of September in Pisces in your 3rd house. This is like a new attachment towards a new way of thinking logically, a new study, but something that is hands-on, right? It is the house of the Gemini. It's the 3rd house is related to Gemini, so it is related to learning a skill. And that could be a new start, a new beginning. It could be short trips. It could also mean like if you have your own business, a new way of marketing, a new way of setting up your social media, a new way of connecting with siblings, with new neighbors. That could be that as well. A letting go of that 9th house, a letting go of all beliefs that are absolutely no longer suiting you, and it opposes you, which is Saturn. So it's not going to be easy to do it. But it's about having the discipline to do it and believing in it and doing it anyway, the hard work to do it, to create a new belief system, to do the work and to let go of an old one first and foremost. It could be anything, right? A belief system. You can believe, for instance, I can't do it. And that holds you back, that blocks you to that new study. Maybe you want to study how to, I don't know, how to drive, how to knit, how to create something, whatever it is, a language. But you had that belief system, I'm too old, for instance. Right? So you have to drop that. And you can say literally, yes, I've dropped the belief system, but you have to feel it, right? Before you believe it as well. And it's that work that is done there. It can also mean literally an ending of a study, of a university study, higher study that you've been doing, and now a more focusing on the practical of how you're gonna the study that you did, how you're gonna bring that into practice. Could be that as well, or a novel that you've just written, and it's difficult to. You want it to be perfect, and it's difficult to say, look, this is done now. I'm going to publish it. You hear that quite often, don't you? With writers, that they are a bit scared to kind of publish it because then it's done and they can't go back to it and re-edit it and so on. Mars is in the 11th house. So at the same time, there's a lot of energy towards groups of people, towards objectives for the future. If you have your own business, towards how you earn the money there. So there could be new, but square Pluto. So there might be a connection that you're having with a group of people, or you doing something in a group that demands quite a bit of courage there. Could be that. You're doing a workshop and it's scary, that kind of thing. Pluto in your 2nd house of values and worthiness. What else can it be? A transformation around a friend. That is a bit challenging, but you're doing it anyways. There is a transformation there. There could be someone a friend going through a huge transformation, and that has a knock-on effect on you as well. Very nice. Aquarians, this is all about values. This eclipse, this lunar eclipse on the 7th in Pisces in your 2nd house is all about new opportunities here as well for your value, for earning money, for your assets, for growth of it, for growth of your confidence, how you create confidence. You create it by doing something yourself, not by being attached towards the value of other people. And that is where this other eclipse on the 21st of September is in the 8th house. It's a stepping away from the values of the validation of other people towards you. And that you might be trying to get too much. It can be in many ways, you know. How people get validation is not always by, oh, they say how good you are. No, it can be people who kind of, it looks on the superficious, on the surface level, but it goes deeper. You know, the eighth house is a deep house. Sexuality as well could mean that, oh yes, you're going for the actually it's not about sex, it's about that validation, like, oh yeah, you see, I can still, you know, seduce with this scorpionic energy and this kind of thinking that this is everything, but going towards more of the own validation of I value myself and I feel worthy with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's a lot of work done in the career house as well with Mars there. You have Mars there square Pluto. So there's a lot of energy that you will need as well to transform that in a certain way. It could mean that it can turn out two ways. If you work for yourself, it's about something that you might be fearful of and that you want to have a breakthrough. Pluto is in your first house. So it's really about you have the power, but you have to go through the fear. If you're working for someone, it could mean that there is this fight going on, this ego fight, ego struggle with a boss, for instance. And even if you work for yourself, it could be a business partner that there is a bit of a power struggle going on. And it's, you know, it can be, you know, Scorpio, it's all a bit dark and it's all a bit passive aggressive. But the thing is your intention. If your intention is from, you know, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to do it to grow and start from integrity. You can really, really break through some big, big challenges that are really going to be very successful for you when it comes to your work. So it really starts with value and then it ends up with work and career. If you're not working, it's about your connection with a parent. Could be that as well, that there is some power struggles going on and you breaking through that. And also how you want to be seen in the world. If you say, Veerle, I'm 77 years old and I don't work anymore, can be how you want to present yourself to the world, that you want to do that in a different way. You want to, you know, maybe you're a grandparent and you want to put more effort into that, but it's a bit fearful because you think, oh, I'm too old. Or whatever it is, you know, there is this shift for you in approaching something that is important. And last but not least, the Pisceans, and it's so much about you. The whole intro is about you. And certainly that on the 7th of September, there is this new beginning for you. And it's showing itself with the North Node there and with the Moon there. Also with Saturn back into your sign. So it's definitely, I'm not going to repeat it all, but the whole intro is for you, right? And it is about you getting more connected to you in a way, by having better boundaries, by having better, by you saying more no when you want to say more no. But at the same time, being very empathic, being very caring towards others in an empathic way, and being very inspired and creative as well. It's beautiful time for Pisceans if they want to let go of old attachment with people that are no longer suiting them. And this is particularly in love, because it's this new moon in your 7th house of relationships. So not all Pisceans are going to end up and doing breakups, but some of you definitely will. And definitely when it's out of, you're staying because it's out of perfection, or you want to make it work, or you're staying for the wrong reasons, basically. It can also mean that a new relationship comes in, because your attitude of relationships, you kind of shift it. You kind of say, okay, this was a phase in my life, now I'm going to shift it. So a lot of you will get into new relationships as well, you know. It's a lot about these shifts of your identity as well. Of course, very often if you're on the inside are shifting, you're going to attract different people as well. So, but definitely some karmic endings with people, but immediately new ones because of this. This is reflected in this other eclipse as well on the 7th, because this is also the sun is shining in your 7th house, right? And Mars in the 9th. Go travel if you can, or study something. Study astrology. Study something that is very metaphysical, that is healing, or Reiki, or whatever it is that you find very interesting and that has to do with the transformation in life. You will be doing a lot of effort in understanding also the world. Mars in the 9th house, squaring Pluto, so you're a bit afraid of it, but you want to understand, you want to put effort in understanding the world. Mars in the 9th. Can also mean teaching, learning, starting a school that has to do with higher learning, and you're afraid of it, but you're doing it anyway. It's very beautiful, because this Mars in Scorpio trines your energy. So this is for you a little bit easier, although it squares Pluto. But what a time for you, with a lot of new opportunities for you to be fully yourself. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to have a reading, click on the link below, my website, astroveerle.com, and you can look at what kind of readings you want. And thank you so much for watching. Grateful to be your astrology reader, and see you soon. Bye-bye.